Hello, welcome to today's class in the Storytelling School. This is our first lesson and we'll be talking about how that you can sell anything with storytelling. And I'm super excited. I can't wait to start, talking about what today's class is all about. So let's jump right in. I don't want this to be a long class, so let's dive in. Today's class is about selling anything with storytelling. And the first question we would ask ourselves is, what is story? What is storytelling? And simply, storytelling can be defined as the retelling of an event, true or fiction, often from a single perspective. But before we go forward, after understanding what storytelling is, I want you to pause this video right now. Go and get your books, your pen, your phone, whatever it is that you can put down notes in. But particularly what I want you to do is to be able to intermittently, as we go through this class together, put down the questions that you have, because I will be doing my best to answer those questions after this class. Trust me, you want to do this as we move forward, because as we go on, you might have questions that you would forget at the end of the class. So please pause this video right now. I'll wait for you. Welcome back. Now that you have your pens and your biros, you can put down questions. Let's jump into the next parts of this class, where I will show you how storytelling can be a powerful sales tool. Now, in business, if you're in business, that means you're always trying to sell something. And for you to sell something, the other person you're trying to sell it to has to know what you're selling to them. Nobody's going to buy what they don't understand or what they don't know. So layman would say, oh, let me give them more information about my products. Let me tell them more information about what I do, and just giving people, and if you have the habit of, giving people more and more and more and more information, there's no problem with that. But the thing is, people are up to their eyeballs with information. Nobody wants more information. People are tired of information. The internet is full of information. The distraction is high. People are distracted every day. And so if you try to sell the things that you're doing just by sharing only information, you're losing out on a big opportunity. And this is why story is your next option. In fact, story should actually be your first option. And I'll tell you why shortly. Now, story is not facts. They have similarities. Facts can be found inside of stories, but they are two different things. However, we've already noted that people don't like information. Like, there's an information overload right now, and people don't want more information. People want something else. So what do people want? Now, as a business, this is your first assignment. You have to figure out what your market or your target audience want. Now, I've already given you the secret code here. They don't want more information, because they are up to their eyeballs with information. And if you think that there is something that you can tell another person that they don't already know, trust me, you're in for a big shock. If you sell parfaits, right? You sell parfaits, or you sell something of that kind of nature, and you think that by telling or educating people about the health importance of your parfait, then that will make people buy somehow, trust me, you're in that business already. You know that's not working for you. No matter how much you try to use information to sell products, your conversion rate will always be minimal. And that just means that as a business, you would struggle to sell. And that's why we're here, talking about how that storytelling can actually sell anything. So I think you're already having a change of mind as to how to approach sales. But let's dive in. Let's keep going deeper and see what's up. All right? So the question is, what do people want if they don't want more information? What are people looking for if they don't want to learn more about your product? Now, if you know the answer to that question, you would know how to use that to compel people. You would know how to use that to influence people. You would know how to use that to pull people closer to your business and convert them from just prospects into paying customers. Knowing the answer to what people want is the secret to sales. Big corporations, big brands have put millions and millions into research so that they can figure out what people want. And then they put that in front of people, and then people in turn buy from them. And today, for free, for absolutely free, I'm telling you what the big brands have discovered. So what do people want? If people don't want information, what else could they want, right? Don't worry, okay, I'm delaying this too much. Let me just go ahead and tell you. So next slide. People want faith. Faith in you. People want faith in your goals. They want faith in your success. People want faith. The people want to believe in you. People want something that is relatable to them. People want something that they can connect to. You see, the thing about this is because of how much overload of information we have right now on the internet and the business space, people are too busy scrolling up and down that if you don't give them something that can capture them at the moment, something that they can relate with and connect with emotionally, then you've lost them already. People want faith, and I'll explain faith shortly because maybe you might be having a misconception about what faith is. But so what is faith? Okay, so there's a popular saying that I really love about faith, and it says that faith can move mountains. Another way to say this is faith can move people, right? Faith can move people to take action. Trust me, watch. Faith can move people to believe in you. So what people are looking for is not information. People are looking for where they can connect to something and experience faith. I'll explain, I'll elaborate a little bit on that, but next slides, right? Facts do not give birth to faith. This is something you have to know. Facts or information overload can never give birth to faith. Faith needs a story to sustain it. If there is no story, then there is no faith. People out of faith become believers. People out of faith become believers in a product. People out of faith become believers in an idea. If you want people to follow you, if you want people to believe in you, then what you need to be able to stir up in them is faith. And how you do that is by encapsulating it in story. Story is the vehicle that drives faith into people's heart without permission. Trust me. Let me give an example of a company that I love so much, which is the Apple, right? The Apple company is so amazing at driving faith to the extent that now their users are not just users, their users are believers. Look, if a new Apple product comes out today, Apple believers don't need to test it to buy it. We buy it not because it is good or because it is bad. We buy it regardless because we believe. That is the power of story. The story that Apple has told us over time has built faith, a track record of faith in us that has turned us normal users into believers, that they no longer need to invest in their marketing as much. All they need to invest in is me, to make me a better believer. So that, okay, don't you see this happen all the time? You're in the same room or you're in your office, you're the only one that is not using an Apple phone, for example. And you hear your colleagues all the time trying to market the Apple phone to you. No one paid them to do that ads. No one paid them to become sales reps, but they are selling it to you because of belief, because of faith. Haven't you recommended a business before to someone else? Why did you do it? Is it because you had enough information about them? No, you did it because you believed in them, because you connected to them, because you related to their business. That's why you recommend a store. That's why you recommend a thrift store to someone. That's why you recommend a cake baker to someone. This is why you do the things you do. I want you to know that a meaningful story, not just any story, but a meaningful story that inspires belief in you and renews hope that your ideas indeed offer what you promise, is the exact model that inspires faith. Now you have an idea, you have a product, or you have a service. What you need to do is to tell a meaningful story that makes people to somehow spark up belief in people over that product or over that idea that you have. That's how you can build faith. That's how you can drive faith into people. Look, you can have 1,000 true fans. As a music artist, for example, when you can have 1,000 true fans, that's all you need. Because those 1,000 true fans will be the backbone for every other thing. Now, let me give an example about what this looks like. If I was a music artist and you right now was one of my fans, like one of my true believing fan, right? If I came out with a single, and I called it Tu Baba, that's a lame name. Let me give another name. Anyways, that's the name that came to my head. And I called it Tu Baba or Too Good, right? And that's the name of my music, right? And my single that came out. If you're my true fan, you download it or you buy it. If next week I said, guys, I just came out with the version 2 of my music, you still buy it. If I say I'm having a concert and I'm going to sing the same music, you still buy my tickets and come to the concert to listen to the same music that you just bought. You see, the thing about true fan base is that once they believe in your ideals, once they believe in your services or your products, they will patronize you regardless. And any business on earth can do this, even your small business. Even because the big brands are doing it. But what they don't want you to know is that you can do it as well. And that's why I'm here, to teach you how you can take storytelling, what looks expensive and always screams loud budget, and do it in your own small corner. That's what I'm about to teach you. But let's go to the next slide and see something. You see, it is faith that moves mountains, not facts. And I've already passed that across, right? So if you want to move people, it is faith you should be building on, not more facts. So on a scale, right? If here you have faith and here you have facts, don't try and be giving people more information. Try and be giving people more faith, right? And that's what I'm trying to tell you, that more information says tell them more about your product, why your product is amazing, why your product is good. And that doesn't really do much, right? It's good, but that doesn't do much. However, put facts into story and deliver it the same way. Boom, that's the miracle of story. So all that fact information that you wanted to deliver is still hidden inside of story. And then once you deliver that to your audience or through your communications platform, and you start to inspire belief here and there in what you do, why you do it, how you do it, what you're selling, whatever it is, you start to get sales. That's how it works. And before you know, one person tells another person tells another person, and your story is repeatedly told to someone else. And that's how you can go viral over time. That's the power of story. But let's go to the next slides, right? So you see, facts do not give birth to faith. Faith needs a story to sustain it. So, more about faith, and I just want to dwell here a little bit so that you can really understand the power of story and what story really does for you. You see, faith cannot just move mountains, faith can move money. Faith can overcome money. That's better. That's a better way to say it. So check out the slide. Faith can overcome money. How can faith overcome money? Now, look at me, right? Trust me, there are products in this world that are overpriced, but people are still buying them. I'm telling you, you know what's worse? The people that cannot afford them are still buying them. Look, it's so. Let me give you an example, right? Think about. Let's still dwell with the Apple products, right? So there are phones, right? So you could have an Android phone or you could have an Apple phone, right? So two phones, what do? They do virtually the same things, right? They answer calls, they deliver calls, they send SMS. You could do amazing things with these things, right? But one is 3 times the price of the other. So you're seeing an iPhone for $4,000 or you're seeing a Samsung for barely $1,000. And you're asking yourself which one you should buy. But you still see people that cannot afford $4,000 gathering money to buy $4,000 worth of product. What is going on in their head? You might call them fools, but I will call them believers. Faith can overcome money. So even if you, right there, your product is overpriced, let me not use the word overpriced, but your products are expensive. I mean, they're like here, you're charging 500 to 1 million naira for the things that you sell or for the service you deliver when other people are delivering it for 5,000, 10,000. You're delivering yours at 50,000 and 100,000. Now that's a little bit high, right? And you're scared that, look, I need to give people more information because if I give them more information, they will buy, they will see why I'm better than others. Dude, babe, you are doing it wrong. That's not how to go about it. What you should be investing in is telling stories. Because telling stories is how you can build faith. And when people believe in your product enough, they will be blind. They won't see your prices. I recently heard that there's a coach on Instagram who is selling her coaching services for a month for 300K. And I know there are many coaches watching this right now. And you guys are just barely charging 15,000 naira, 50,000 naira. And you're thinking that, oh my God, how can I ever grow to 100,000 naira? Tell stories. Go and watch the people that are selling their coaching services for 300,000 naira. You know what is dominating their Instagram page? Do you know what is dominating their Facebook and their Twitter and their LinkedIn? The stories they tell. Trust me, it is not information. It's stories. Go on. Let's bet 1K. Check it out. It's stories. All right? But let's go to the next slide. Now, not only can faith overcome money, faith can also overcome power. Faith can overcome authority. Faith can overcome political advantage. Faith can overcome power, authority, and political advantage. So that means if you're in politics, this will work for you. If you're in a business that you're overpowered by other big brands, like let me give an example of the Indomie brand, for example. So you see the Indomie noodle brand, the idea here is that when you even go and buy Indomie from a shop, the thing that they tell you is what kind of Indomie do you want to buy, because they've become a generic name. Or for seasonings, when you go and buy cubes, right, cube seasonings, they tell you what kind of Maggi do you want. Or when you go and buy diapers, they tell you what kind of Pampers do you want. You see, so Pampers, Indomie, and Maggi have dominated the market space with their names. So these are authoritative brands. These are powerful brands. But guess what? The good news is that you can still win in the midst of these people if you're using story. That's how story can sell you. So if you're selling seasoning, I have a friend, she sells seasoning, locally made seasonings, and internationally aware kind of like my friend sells seasonings. Basically, she sells seasonings that can only be found in Ukraine, sells seasonings only found in Dubai, but she makes them here in KD and then she sells them out. And if she's watching this right now, here's my advice to her. I'm telling her that, look, you're in the seasoning business, and that means your competitors are people like Maggi, Onga, and the likes of them. What do you think these guys are doing? How did you hear of Onga? Did you hear of Onga when you read the thing at the back of Onga? They were telling you this percent in vitamins, this percent in this. Nobody was giving you more information. So you too, stop giving information like that about your seasonings and expect to convert sales. What is Onga doing? What is Maggi doing? They're telling stories. They're investing millions and millions into TV ads, radio ads, billboards, banners. That's what they're doing. They're telling stories and attaching their brands to things that are relatable, things that can spark faith and believe in things that they do. And that's why people buy from them. Not because Onga is the best in the world. And I believe that yours is probably the best in KD that we've seen, but you're not getting the patronage that you need, that you deserve. Because you're not under advertising, you're under telling. You're not telling your stories enough, or you're not telling it to the right channels, right? Anyways, that's a freebie for you. So how do you create faith? Now, I've been saying this a lot about faith, and now you've known that when I'm talking about faith, it's synonymous to storytelling, right? So how do you create faith? How do you tell stories? How do you tell this story that moves people? How do you tell the Apple kind of story? How do you tell the Onga kind of story? How do you tell the Indomie dun, 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 kind of story? How do you do that? There's this other one that is really okay. Do you know how many toothpaste brands exist in this country? There are a lot, but most people just say McLean or Close Up. That's another example of authoritative brands, but yeah, that's just annoying. I just needed to chip that in, right? So how do you create faith? How do you tell stories? How do you do what these big brands have been able to do in your own small corner? Next slide. Yes, story. Story is your part to creating faith. I cannot overemphasize this. It is story. And now you might say that I'm not showing you the intricacies of, what this story comprises of and all of that. But don't worry. I also say that you're going to come away with a big understanding about the ingredients that are required for telling sale-driven stories. Next slide. I want to re-emphasize that telling a meaningful story means moving and inspiring people. Telling a meaningful story means building faith in people and making people believe in the things that you do, whether they are ideas, their products, or their services. This is how you go about that. Story can move anybody. Story can move strangers. Story can move thieves. Story can move religious people. Story can move atheists. Story can move anything. Stories can overcome anything. That is the power of story. I want to also tell you something that is really, really interesting about stories, is that story, not only is story powerful, but at the very core of the human nature is story. At the very beginning of our existence is story. Story is what gives meaning to life. To be human is to be a storyteller. We've been telling stories from the beginning of time. Since the Stone Age, before the Stone Age, we've been telling stories. We've always been storytellers. And this is an example I always give my team. I tell them this. I say, look, guys, Now, I want you to take yourself as an example. And now you do this for yourself. Take yourself as an example. Now, I want you to take away your name. All right? You don't have any name. Now, the next thing I want you to do is take away your family. You don't have any family history. And history is 2 words. History, right? Take away your history, right? Take away your family. Take away everything. Take away all the stories you've ever heard. Take away your perception. Take away your religion. Take away your story. Now, does your life have any meaning? Think about it. What is the meaning of your life without a story? You see, the answer is inevitably nothing. Your life has no meaning if you take away stories. And that's the example that I give people. And I hope that this has come across well for you as well. So story is human. I want you to remember this for the next thing that I'm going to say. And it is, because story is so human, my friend, you don't need to ask yourself, so how can I tell my own stories? You're already a storyteller. I needed to chip this in for those people who can afford professionals like us to come into their businesses and help them convert their strategy into storytelling strategies. Look, you can tell your own stories by yourself. And just stick around. We'll be giving lessons to teach you how this all works out. If you can't afford to pay other people, if you can't afford to bring in a team, no problem. I would show you how you can tell your own stories by yourself. But story is human, man. Check yourself. Today, you've told a story. That's why you're here. Even if you've told stories that move people, even if you've done all this well, correctly, there's still one mistake that you might make. And I want to point that out. Is if you are forcing people or if you're trying to tell people what to do. Yeah, don't do that. That's wrong. It's not wrong, but dude, if you want this thing to work, baby, if you want this thing to work, you have to listen to me. Don't do that. Don't tell people what to do. People don't like being told what to do. If today we put a signboard that says, do not dump refuse here, big, gigantic, me and you know this country that we are in, and any other country in the world, that is the location for dumping refuse. If you say, do not throw stone into that glass building, that's it. There's a saying, rules are meant to be broken. So once you say, don't do this, people do the opposite. Once you say, do this, people do the opposite. So what I'm about to show you now is how you can do it the better way, the right way, the selling way, the storytelling way. And it is that you give people the opportunity to figure out what they want to do for themselves. Yeah, Andrew Stanton, right, of Pixar Storytelling, right, Pixar company, they make animation, cartoons and all of that. Andrew Stanton said in one of his TEDx, probably put a link to it or put a screenshot of it right here. Now, Andrew Stanton said that storytelling is like joke telling. You give people 2 + 2, but you don't give them 4. You let them figure out that for themselves. Meaning that when a comedian is on stage trying to make you laugh with a joke, with a story, right? Does the comedian at the end of the day tell you, so the guy went left, then he went right, then he entered the then yes, laugh now. Do you ever hear any comedian telling you, now is the time to laugh? No, nobody does that. Everybody, good comedians, will give you the joke straight and hit the punchline, bam. And you know what happens? You laugh like magic. And so think about it, because joke telling is storytelling. It's the same methods that happen there. So if you tell your stories well about your services, your products, and your businesses, you give people 2 + 2 properly, what will they arrive at? 4. That's it. That's the magic. But never say to them, 2 + 2, 4. Do 4. Yeah, 4. Please, bye. No, don't do that. Just tell people 2 + 2. And if you're for them, they'll buy. Next slide. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is because people don't like being told what to do. No one likes being told they have to buy something. Let people come into their own conclusion. Let them reach their own conclusion about you and your business and the things that you're doing. Storytelling can sell anything. I would say that one more time because we're about to wrap up this class. I hope that I've been able to convince you. I hope that I've been able to open your mind to new things and new ideas about how storytelling works, why it is powerful, and how that it can actually help you sell anything in any business anywhere in the world. Yeah, it's that powerful, right? So, key thing here is, I would like to refer back to this, is that big brands are already doing this. Don't forget it. Big brands are already doing this. And they are investing billions and billions. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, big, gigantic brands. Think about them, UNICEF, Unilever, like amazing big brands are already telling stories. Always, I like the Always Ultra thing. I was asking my wife the other day, I was telling her, wait, babe, please, is Always the best kind of pad, sanitary pad? And she said to me, no. With this kind of no, how would you even ever think that? It's not my fault. It's the ones that I've seen. It's the story I've been told. On TV, every time I'm watching TV, I always see sanitary pad adverts or stories about Always. And you see girls dancing, they're telling you Always is good, 6 hours long or 24 hours long. And it's all cool, right? So, dude, big brands are already doing this. You should start, see, you're a business, right? Your dream is never to remain low, right? You always want to grow. You want to be the big brand one day. So what are you going to do? Do what the big brands are doing. Start telling stories. Invest in stories. In your marketing budget, every month, put money for storytelling. You're not that big. Every 4 months, put money for storytelling. Pay someone to do it for you if you can't do it properly. If you can invest in learning it by yourself because you have the time, do that. No matter who you are in the world, no matter where you are in the world, once people are able to make your story their story, you have tapped into the powerful force of faith. And faith is the most compelling idea in the world. It is the most compelling force in the world, and it lives inside of stories. Thank you very much, guys. This is the end of today's class, and in conclusion, I would like for you to ask me any question on earth relatable to this video, of course, this class, of course. Please ask me any questions. And remember what I told you in the beginning of this class. I told you, go get your biro and your book so that you can intermittently write your questions. And I hope you've done that. I know you've done that. Now, what I want you to do is, if you're watching this on Thursday, tomorrow being Friday is question and answer day on the group. So guys, go to the group. The group will be open. Post your questions there, and I promise you, I'll answer your questions. Thank you very much. My name is Bilal Salau, expert storyteller.